Hello to the Foundational Infrastructure Working Group meeting today, 20th of February. So you will have our usual agenda, checking on the PRs and issues and talk about any other business.
Oh, I guess there was one action item from last week, which was I was supposed to look at Noble Docker image publishing, container image publishing, which it turns out it was being published. It just was private still because of the way GitHub container registries work, which I guess once that was there, Beyhan, you were able to figure out what was wrong with the Java build pack using that?
Yes, that helped me to debug the Java build pack issue on Noble. But it looks like it is not a Java build pack issue, but more the DNS issue. It's the same like in CF deployment, online build pack is used, which tries to download some dependencies, and on Noble, yeah, as soon we know the DNS doesn't work at the moment.
Oh, when I first saw you comment on that and posted the error, I assumed it was DNS, but then I noticed that it was trying to download something that used like Noble in the name too. Do those assets actually exist?
They don't exist, but I executed the test in a Noble stem cell. Usually the container, when you execute this in a Cloud Foundry environment, you execute on a Noble stem cell, but the container will have a root file system from the old stack. And won't try to download dependency for Noble, but for Jammy, because the rootfs is still the Jammy one. Still needs to be validated whether this works, but I expect to work.
And I saw some issue or some updates on was it the Ruby build pack there was failures on? And that was just DNS. And then somebody pointed at the in CF deployment, the deployment property where you basically pass in the container. Is that what you just pasted?
Pasted the relevant issue in the chat. So this is what is currently blocking us. It seems that Bosch DNS is still not correctly configured, and we do not know what the correct configuration is. And I've joined to ask if there is any progress on that, or if you need help from us.
The more relevant issue is in the Diego release. This is just what we changed in Bosch DNS. I think this
I got the link here.
Basically, I was helping Dimitar to debug, and we pushed a Go application, which is compiled already with all the dependencies and used the static, the binary build pack. And inside, we already changed that DNS property to point to systemd resolve, but still somehow the connection is refused. Even though the configuration seems work inside.
Yeah, this is where my understanding ends. So you can also use offline build pack application for testing that can be pushed, and then you can do CFSSH. And then to my understanding, instead of Bosch DNS, we now use the systemd resolve, right?
Yeah.
But this is not started at all, and I don't know what's missing.
It should be. I wonder. Wild speculation here from someone who's never touched Diego or container networking or anything.
Yeah.
Is that so? I would be shocked if systemd resolved is not running on the VM that Diego's running on. But I wonder if there's something that needs to be done in the container networking to allow the container to get to that IP on, because the 127, like maybe that's hitting somewhere in the container.
Is possible, yeah.
So on the VM we verified here the below is on the VM, so you can see that it's under the same IP, and it runs. It can resolve. So it is not that it is not running, but something is blocking the communication. As I also tend to something like Joseph said. I don't maybe in
security groups from Bubble, maybe.
Uh,
no security groups from the application maybe, because we have a security group
Yes.
which allows a general security groups which allows the Bosch DNS address. If I'm not, maybe that is not adjusted yet.
does it allow Bosch DNS or all port 53? I forget.
I also
It
don't know.
allows all port 53 connections on
Okay.
000/0.
Okay, that is not
So
issue then.
But something network wise. So I'll
yeah.
throw this at some of our networking folks and see if they have any idea what part of the container networking is or
Yes.
container construction is blocking this.
I would say this is now the Diego table to find out.
Mhm.
I don't know how we can support more from Bosch side. I also mentioned this to Amelia during the TUC, and she wanted to look. I don't know.
Oh no, that's who I was going to ask.
Yeah, maybe you
I'll ask
can
her again.
ask again. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm guessing this is not a huge issue. This is something somewhere needs to be fiddled with a bit somewhere. We just need to find someone who knows what that fiddly bit is.
Yep. Would be glad if we could find that someone, yeah, because this is really now blocking everything in the
Right.
validation. Okay. Okay, so very likely a network issue. Yeah, I don't know. Should we try the Diego working group meeting?
Maybe you
Yeah.
can ask also our runtime colleagues whether they
The runtime, but they are already involved, right? But okay, I can ping them again. Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure whether they are involved. I'm not. I never talked to them about this issue.
Okay. Okay, good. Then I will ping them again and Plamen maybe as the PO and
Yes.
see if anyone has. But okay, so this setup is correct, yes, and it's just the network is somehow blocked. Yeah. Okay,
We
this
believe so,
also.
yeah.
You believe so? Oh, okay, good.
We're not gonna say anything. Nothing's for certain. But
Yeah.
it all looks to be working how we expect it to be working.
Good. That's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else, Jochen, you want to discuss?
No, just this issue. Yeah.
Yeah. I see we have also Norman in the call. Do you want to discuss something specific before we jump?
No, I just decided to join this to see what your group does.
Oh no.
Okay, then we can continue with the dashboard. So, wow, there are many pending to be merged.
Somebody is not doing his job.
That's our job.
Oh shit.
We have to implement auto merge. What was?
I don't know. Aram wants to remove more stuff. That's par for the course for Aram. I don't think that needs to block this, but yeah, there may be additional flags to remove. I assume disable shared is another flag we're using when building Ruby.
We don't know what it is, but we can merge this and maybe a different PR for that. Or
Yeah.
I personally don't know disable chat. Yeah. I think we didn't have enough approvals last week. That's why we didn't merge, but now we have 2 approvals. Everything's look fine.
Yeah. And just looking up disable shared, it does basically what it says. So when the Ruby is built, it will not use shared libraries. It compiles everything statically, which seems like it's maybe a bad idea, but I don't know. We don't need to look at it as part of this issue.
Yeah.
Bad idea in the sense that, like, because we have precompiled, you can precompile a Bosch release. So if you precompile the Ruby release on one stem cell, and then you deploy that on a later stem cell that has some things fixed that like Ruby would normally use as a shared library, now they're statically broken in the compiled binary. Sort of the underpinning issue with precompiled releases that nobody's really been able to wrap their head around and say, yes, these are safe to carry forward to stem cells.
I see. Yeah, good point. On Compute Gallery for Azure CPI, most probably we want to have here another review.
Yeah, still waiting.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
this
I
one,
tested this this week, last week, and it works. It's a little bit slower to create the stem cell because it has to upload it to the image gallery. It takes like an extra minute or two. But then, yeah, VM creation is also about a minute faster. And you do that a lot more than you upload stem cells. So overall, huge net gain, I would say. And then I also really like that this opens the not the code here, but it opens the possibility of making a light stem cell for Azure finally.
and regarding costs, you don't generate more costs using this approach, or
I didn't look too closely at that. I think that Azure, there was some paragraph I read. It was like you pay the storage costs, which seems fair and is probably similar to where they were being stored before. And then it was like, and you pay the transfer cost to a different region one time or something if you're replicating it between regions. But otherwise, it doesn't seem like whatever they're doing here is a major cost impact compared to running a single VM, I'm guessing.
yeah.
A rounding error in the overall aspect of running Cloud Foundry in Azure.
Yeah, it's like this I like with diagrams, and so
I definitely admit not looking at that diagram at all. I'm sure they spent a lot of time on it, but like couldn't spend the time to comprehend it.
the table was more interesting for you. Here, the
Yeah, VM creation time going down. I'm excited about that in Azure. Every time I'm sitting there for 5 minutes waiting for a VM to come up.
there is also some visualization. Yeah, great. Okay, but yeah, we need another review on this. Okay. This property validation.
Yeah, I guess we're just still waiting for another review on this. I don't think
Yeah.
anything's changed since last week. I'll ping some people.
There are also conflicts. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Time to rebase.
Yeah. Extend Bosch tagging for CPI. I was looking into this. So now, when you create a stem cell, you provide also the tags to tag the stem cell. This looks to me like API change. Or
Yeah, this changes the CPI. I
Yeah.
don't know if CPIs are resilient to this, in the sense that they are fine with extra arguments, or if they're just going to blow up because, oh, I didn't expect the extra thing. It may depend greatly upon the CPI if it's written in Go or Ruby or whatnot. So definitely need some reviews on this.
Um,
It's always something you could jam into cloud properties and not have to deal with a CPI change. But if it does break CPIs, then unless we want to make a CPI v3,
yeah, I didn't talk to the colleagues. This was my understanding is CPIs will blow up.
that's bad. We don't want that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I don't know how important tags are, but like in the big scheme of thing, adding a CPI v3 is not like the end of the world. You know, if a CPI wants this, like it can say my info endpoint, like I'm version 3 now, and Bosch always interrogates every time Bosch calls the CPI, it interrogates it, what is your version? And so just to pass this or not. So I guess new versions of the CPI don't have to be massive overhauls of everything like V1 to V2 was, but this might certainly might be a breaking change.
Ask the colleagues, they are new to the team, so they a little bit investigate the CPIs and so we can also well, we had somewhere the CPI overview API methods. So definitely, yeah, it doesn't create stem cell arguments, image path, and cloud properties. So
I don't understand why they not put it in cloud properties.
You're a little bit quiet there, Ramon. But yeah, what typically tags have always more or less gone in cloud properties because every IaaS handles them a little bit differently. I think there's definitely some benefit to trying to make that a first class sort of thing in a lot of places. I don't know if this is justified here, but yeah.
Because for the tags is like different for every freaking IaaS, as far as
Yes. Yeah. Behaviorally dramatically. So it's definitely more consistent with other tagging stuff, you know, tagging of VMs and whatnot. Like typically, well, no, there is some tagging of VMs that happens outside of cloud properties, I guess, although behavior is still wildly different across IaaS, but definitely a lot of the tagging stuff I think happens inside of cloud properties currently.
okay, this is still pending review. So here is update OpenStack. How do you pronounce this? Wallaby?
Wallaby.
Wallaby? Certificate.
I don't understand why nobody clicked the merge button. So this appears to be a CI change to fix it so the OpenStack CI can run in our new environment.
I would just accept this.
Yeah, just merge this. I don't understand why this is a PR. I don't understand why, when seeing this, we didn't remove it from here entirely and just put it into CredHub for the concourse. I don't understand anything.
I don't know. I think
considering we've been trying to get these pipelines running for months, it seems like waiting for a PR for this is not an additional blocker we needed. Yes. So pipelines for stem cells are currently broken because they can't create new AMIs because we're out of quota for AMIs. This confuses me, and I think Ramon, and maybe you, Beyhan, because we did this RFC 2 years ago, 3 years ago, for like, hey, we're going to delete AMIs older than 3 years, and then we did. But we didn't automate it apparently. I don't quite understand. I don't know if this is.
I definitely know we automate because I was working on it for quite some time to get it to actually working because all the tagging needed to be. I needed to double check if all the AMIs were probably tagged, which they weren't.
Well, no. So that though is the unpublished one because we only care about tagging of published true false for because we delete everything older than 60 days that wasn't
Yes,
published.
but I know for certain that we had like a whole thing like when we had like okay if it's older than X because I know we had complete discussions about it like do we do it after 2 years, do we do it after 1 year, do it 6 months, what are we going to do, or do and then I also know that yeah we had like some rules like okay we're going to keep at least the last 5 or 15 or something stem cells and then everything before that, and if it exceeds the time frame then we would remove it. I know I for certain I know we talked about this and I thought it was implemented.
I agree. My only theory for how this isn't a thing is the current accounts are only about 3 years old at this point. Because previously they were in old pivotal accounts is where stem cells were published. And so maybe we had those on our CI somewhere that were cleaning up things older than 3 years, although maybe not because we just didn't care.
No, I
Maybe we
think
cleaned some stuff up and then it didn't matter anymore. And so,
we
but the new
removed
accounts
those.
now are full. So this is a pipeline that where we update the pipeline to now delete stem cells older than
But it's still
3
cleaning
years.
up the unpublished ones, right? The dev ones.
Yes. Yeah, this is just an additional step.
Yeah.
With modified. So the script does 3 things. It does 2 things now. This would make it do 3 things. You can pass it a snapshot ID, and it will clean up any AMIs built off that snapshot ID, which is primarily for the light AWS Light Sim Cell Builder. It like has a snapshot in its tests, and it like creates an AMI, and sometimes those leak out of the pipeline. So it cleans that up. You can pass it a if you don't give it a snapshot ID, it will delete everything that is not published older than X days ago. 60, I think, is the default. So it deletes anything not published older than 60 days because we don't know if we're going to publish it. So they sort of sit in the account and we publish them or not. And so that cleans up that. Now, additionally, it has a flag, according to this, which says, I forget what I called the flag, but it basically lets you then pass in a time frame of delete all things older than this, and then the idea would be pass in 1095, 3 years, and then it would delete any AMIs owned by this account, starting with Bosch Star as the name older than that time frame. So there's 3 separate runs of it once this is merged and flown.
Yeah, I know that we had like you also now put it in again, but I thought for sure that we had like a switch as well. Like first we had like only for that we do the unpublished, and then we also had the published because I know we for a fact that we accidentally deleted too much like a few years ago.
Yes.
That was yes, and that was with the published versus unpublished, and that's because like the
Oh,
Gov
okay.
Cloud ones weren't tagged. I remember because
Yeah,
I did
well,
that. That was all my
you,
fault.
You created a PR. It was
If you have any idea where such a thing might have, because I looked in Bosch Stem Cell CI, I like looked at the history back like the 6 months surrounding when we made the RFC, and there was nothing at all about like cleaning up other than the published unpublished stuff happening in there.
yeah.
I remember doing it. I remember it being a thing.
Yeah,
There's
me
no
too.
evidence that memory is true.
Could be the Mandela effect, but who knows?
Yeah, should we wait for the other review or is okay?
It doesn't really need another review. I mean, it's CI only stuff. I mostly wanted to make a PR because I remember doing this. Ramon remembers doing this. I wanted to give other people a chance to show me where we did this. And I
Yeah,
don't know.
no, but yeah, I I thought for sure, and I also double checked the code, and I thought it should be still in the script maybe then. There's just a flag, but it wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll fly that this morning and make sure it doesn't delete everything important while it runs. So when we did the math for requesting quotas, we like the
I
quotas are
think there
wildly
was
different, which is fun.
I had that script that I had. I think it has a dry run in it. You have like a dry run flag where it just posts what it will do.
Yeah, I mean, I ran the query and the query was right, and the script is just run the query and then delete the things it finds.
Okay.
So, but so we are still gonna, it's gonna delete like 6 things, and then going forward it will, slowly delete more. So the calculation we did was like basically maintaining 2 stem cell lines, and there should be enough capacity. That may change at some point, and we might need to do quota increase requests, but that's only a huge deal in the sense that there's like a million AWS regions, and we have to request it for every region separately, and it's a huge pain in the butt, but it's not actually, technically hard or gonna make AWS angry. They're around 220 right now. Public AMIs is the limit for most of the regions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is about removing CLang from the so this has been rebased. We have one approval, merging is blocked for another review.
I definitely looked this. I'll add another review real quick. Right, we were going to merge this last week, but then
Yes, so we just ask for rebase. I can also add a review.
yeah, I just added one.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Oh, I guess some of the approvals are stale because of the rebase.
Yeah, because they are from reviewers. Okay, congratulations, the stem cell is now how much? 300 megabyte less?
Yeah.
We talked about this. We talked. Sorry, what is this?
We did that one. That one is wait. Oh, this is to change the CPI to do the same. We saw the Bosch PR for this.
Yes, this was the Bosch and this is AWS CPI. Okay.
Interesting. So there was already some tag creation happening in there. I saw on the left side removed some tag manager create tags, or at least moved.
So yeah, tagging resources, most probably this is just, I don't know.
Yeah, just move the line.
One line below, but now you have here another end. Most probably that is using tag manager to create the text for the stems encrypted image. I would say that this is blocked by, first we need to clarify.
Yeah, they already did that in the comments, basically.
Okay, then we are now the inbox count.
Wasn't that
Just
last
padding
week?
my PR count. This is those new Azure disk encryption properties, just documenting them on Bosch.io.
Yeah, that was from last week, right?
We merged the stuff into the CPI last week, I think. So these are just the docs for it now.
So not forgetting.
Oh, this one's fun. Yeah, we had some problems. If you perform a cloud check on a VM and that VM and recreate an unresponsive VM or something, we were having problems where that would blow up. And it turns out recreating a VM in that way sets like a special 15-second timeout for everything, for all Bosch agent things, all tasks. So like pre-start has to complete within 15 seconds, which is just like insane. Like why is this creation of a VM different than the original? And it's like a commit from 2011 where they're like, we don't want slow cloud checks, so set a lower timeout. It's like sets a timeout. So normal timeout is 45 seconds, um, with like 3 retries, if it fails. For this, it was set to 15 seconds, no retries. So like I don't know, we had a release that was doing some like networking stuff in pre-start, so the VM went away for 15 seconds network-wise, and so Bosch was just like, it's gone, I give up. Whereas it works normally. So bizarre. That I think it's bizarre that we haven't seen this as a problem yet. So this is just in the Cloud Check helper. So basically all of the agent clients for Cloud Check were getting this 10-second timeout, and retries was, I'm pretty sure, 0. Yes, retries were 0 by default.
Interesting, yeah. I remember using CloudCheck and never saw any issues in that direction. Okay.
Yeah.
Who made
I
it?
mean, yeah,
Why?
it was put in there in 2011. Like,
Yeah.
who was running lone Cloud Checks in 2011? I feel like this is one of those like preemptive, like, what code can we write?
Don't think we even had proper CCK on in 2011.
Yeah, it's
And
confusing why this was here.
now
And
this a new recover option with the, I forgot, recover plan or
yeah, which is in theory really good. Unfortunately, stuff's not broken enough for me to ever. I almost had a chance to use it once, like 3 months ago, and then it was like, oh no, there's an easier way out of this.
But that doesn't use the same path here. It doesn't have the
I think it does use the same overall path. It's a very similar path. It probably uses the same code, but
okay.
yeah, it just lets you make a plan and then apply it later, rather than having to, uh, if you have a 600 unresponsive VMs going through, yes, 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 it lets you generate a document and be like, all right, let's mass update all these. Here's the plan, do it.
I thought it's a little bit different because this is going sequential and that one could also, but maybe, I don't know. I didn't look into
I think that the plan, there is some differences in the code path. The plan exposed some additional options for controlling it,
Yeah.
because Cloud Check was, I mean, I remember when the Bosch v2 came out, Cloud Check was random. Like it didn't respect deployment order at all. It was just like, I'm just going to recreate all your VMs in whatever order. And it's like, no, no, no. You definitely need to bring the database up before you bring Cloud Controller up, sort of thing. And then they fixed that, but it still has some, like you can't adjust max and flight easily. So it's like always like 1, I think,
Yeah.
which is not good. And so the deployment plan exposes some of that as options, I think. Like, I would like to create my Diego cells 20 at a time, please, because otherwise we're going to be here forever, especially on Azure and you got 5-minute VM creation times.
The change looks quite straightforward. I assigned reviews. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not an urgent blocker. I think we had a customer who was like, why does this break when I see CK? And we're like, that shouldn't happen.
Okay, on the issue side, there is nothing in the inbox. I think there's was some question by.
I think it just got updated because it was
Yeah,
linked to something else.
I haven't looked at the SCSI tools because you need to scour through basically almost all our repositories, POS related. I don't think I found anything, but I thought still vSphere uses it. But
I'll try to ask somebody on our side.
okay.
I think vSphere is the only one that uses it, and maybe CloudStack, but I'm not sure.
So our last meeting was 13th of February.
Yeah, there isn't much new stuff.
No.
I went through
Definitely the SCSI tool stuff. At the very least, we could move it to a stage that's only for vSphere if it is needed for vSphere.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
But I'll validate that because maybe we can just rip it out entirely.
will be good because it's not from the main.
It's
Yeah.
a really small tool, anyways. It's not that we're going to save the same thing as what we have at C-Lang.
I also heard comments like it's only one line of code, but it's very important.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through the whole organization for something that calls SCSI tools, but I can't find anything. So
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you want to discuss?
for me now, I think the most important thing is that we get the Diego stuff working for the DNS so that we can finally
Yeah.
put out the normal double stem cell.
Yes. So we discussed action items on that. Let's see. Okay, then we are ready for today. Take care and see you next time. Thank you for attending.